Lost. It's Wrestle Lost. Can you believe it? King Bad God. Oh. Whoa. I see that, JR. It's triggered. It's Johnny. It's Drew. Can you believe it? It's going to be a slobber knocker. As they say, anything can happen on Wrestle Lost. Welcome to Wrestle Lost, folks.
Ah, yes, it's the dance here. It's the Wrestle Lost Derby cast.
The sniper.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Wrestle Lost. As you can see by our disclaimer, this is a very serious topic that can get pretty graphic due to the nature of the situation. So if it makes you uncomfortable and you can't stick around because of it, or you don't want to listen to it on the podcast form later on, we understand, but we feel that it has to be addressed honestly and up front. So I'm going to start it off by reading some of the breaking news as I screenshotted it when it was happening so I can have it to work off of. From the Wall Street Journal yesterday, Vince McMahon has been accused of sex trafficking by a WWE staffer that he paid to keep quiet. In July 2021, the suit said Vince McMahon instructed Grant to create personalized sexual content for a WWE superstar that he was trying to re-sign. The suit didn't name the professional wrestler, but described him as both a UFC fighter and WWE talent. People familiar with the matter identified the wrestler as Brock Lesnar, one of WWE's biggest names. The suit said McMahon shared the explicit photos with the star and informed Grant that he likes what he sees. After the star agreed to a new WWE contract, McMahon texted Grant in August 2021 to say that part of the deal was fucking you. That December, McMahon gave Grant a personal cell phone number gave Grant's personal cell phone number to the WWE star. The lawsuit said the wrestler asked her to send a video of herself urinating, the suit said, and after she did, he called her a bitch. That same month, the suit said, the star expressed a desire to set a play date, but a snowstorm disrupted his travel plan. As one example of McMahon's extreme depravity, on May 9, 2020, he defecated on Miss Grant during a threesome and then commanded her to continue pleasuring his friend with feces in her hair and running down her back while McMahon went to the bathroom to shower off. Upon his return from the bathroom, McMahon and his friend actively resumed the threesome, which lasted over an hour and a half while Ms. Grant remained covered in McMahon's filth. When McMahon's friend left, McMahon ordered her to stay and to continue to sexually gratify him. In June 2021, McMahon and defendant Laurinaitis sexually assaulted Ms. Grant inside Laurinaitis' office in WWE headquarters while colleagues were busy at their desks. Behind the locked door, the two men cornered her and pulled her between them, forcibly touched her, before ultimately putting her on top of a table in between them. She begged them to stop, but they forced themselves on her, each taking turns restraining her for the other while saying, "No means yes," and "Take it, bitch." So that is just some of the information. And there's screenshots of text messages that have also come out. It's all in the Wall Street Journal article, which is 60 plus pages. So to those that bear reading it, I keep on hearing that it's very disgusting in nature. So read at your own risk on that one.
60 pages. Sounds like it got its own edition.
Yeah, they call it an article, but it's 60 plus pages, so it's
Uh-huh.
more like a short novel.
Oh, but I'm sure it's online though.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
you
pretty sure
can't.
it's very easy to find now.
There's not much in the way of printed media media anymore.
Yeah, yeah, it's online for sure.
Yeah.
I have yet to look it up because it's been a pretty busy time since yesterday, with between work and trying to keep tabs on everything that's been going on. It's been I haven't had the time to look for it, but I will look.
Plus, we got the Rumble tomorrow.
Yeah, plus we have the Rumble tomorrow, which is why we decided to do this today. Because if some things happen or somebody comes in and try and discuss it, we'll lightly touch on it tomorrow as well. But we wanted to keep our Rumble watch along away from
Vince free.
away from all the Vince
Yeah.
bullshit that's happening and just focusing on the Rumble and the possible stuff that's going to happen there. So I came in here with just that little bit of information that I read, but something else has happened.
There's more that has come out.
Yeah, roughly 5 to 10 minutes before we went live. As reported by SRS, this was a post he put up. I wanted to inform you that Vince McMahon has tendered his resignation from his positions as TKO Executive Chairman and on the TKO Board of Directors. He will no longer have a role with TKO Group Holdings or WWE, per Nick Khan. So, whenever everything started happening yesterday, one of the things we all discussed here while we were at work was things need to happen ASAP, because this is more serious than the allegations from before.
So the deal that Vince had with TKO from the merger was that he couldn't. The only ways he could be removed from his position were either resignation, incapacitation, or death. And by him resigning this quickly, this proves that he's 100% guilty.
Yes.
Or it's a forced resignation.
Well, yeah, because they wanted to. Yeah, that they were forcing him to resign because they've already lost a sponsor.
Yes.
A pretty big sponsor too. Slim Jim, who's going to be the main sponsor for the Rumble tomorrow, and who have had a working relationship with WWE for over 30 years,
Yeah.
have paused their sponsorship with WWE for now.
And not only that, this other sponsor hasn't been named, but there was a potential new sponsor that has said that they don't want anything to do with sponsoring WWE anymore. So not only is the Slim Jim sponsorship on pause and possibly in jeopardy altogether, whoever this new sponsor was or could have possibly been is out.
But you see now with the merger, this doesn't just affect WWE. This affects the UFC.
Yes.
That has probably just as many fans as WWE.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this week started out on a very positive note for WWE. They signed the rights to Raw starting in January 2025. They're going to start showing Raw exclusive on Netflix and international. They're going to get Netflix. I mean, they're going to get Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and the pay-per-views. And then on Tuesday, like I had mentioned, Oh, well, I don't think I mentioned it on here yet. But The Rock was named to the board of TKO,
Well, he took Vince's place. So
probably on the WWE side. Well, now there's an open there's a vacancy.
There is. And one of the things, it's kind of circling back to Vince McMahon, because this is mainly what we wanted to discuss, even though there's a lot of things that it could affect around it. So the question I had was what I had prepared to ask before that last bit of information came out, that Vince McMahon has ultimately been pushed out right now. Now, how long that's going to last, who truly knows? Because we thought this was happening the last time around.
But I don't think there's a way for him to get back in this time. Company is already sold.
yeah,
The rights have already been signed off. There's nothing left for him to do.
Yeah.
right. He's already given his resignation. They accepted it. He can't force his way back in no more.
In fact, I think this is his second resignation.
Yeah. But this time, at least from what it's sounding like to me, it's gonna stick this time. Like, this is real.
Yeah.
He is out. This is what a lot of people have wanted for a very long time. So to actually see it happening right now in what should be a hell of a weekend for WWE, that's what caught me most off guard, is that the focus was so much on the Royal Rumble and what could possibly happen there, because as we know, the Rumble is the second biggest night for WWE. Obviously, WrestleMania being the first, but yeah. So whenever all of this started breaking days before the Rumble, it caught me off guard. But I read everything that had been said, and I let it sink in, and that's when I started formulating these thoughts in my head of what actually needs to happen. And I did think something would happen by the end of the week, even though we did get the news just yesterday.
Yeah.
And for Vince McMahon to be let go, that is the right choice.
Yes. And this news was so big that lost in the shuffle was that yesterday they released Kevin Patrick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunate for Kevin Patrick. But, well, I mean, that had to be a release that was not in Vince McMahon's choice. It was probably made by someone else.
Yeah.
So, unfortunate for him, this doesn't really affect him because he's going to stay released.
Right. But back, because I mean, that's just another bit of news this week. There have been all kinds of positive and negative news this week for WWE.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is one of the reasons why I said something needs to happen quickly. They needed to act quickly on this situation because of the effects it could have on upcoming deals, like the Netflix deal.
So, well, if you want to,
Whose house is on fire?
Andrews.
It's the microwave.
So there's, I mean, it's not just Vince this time. There's other names that are implicated.
Yeah.
John Laurinaitis and Brock Lesnar. Now, Brock Lesnar was actually slated to make a return this weekend at the Rumble, but From what I've heard, he's been pulled.
Yeah, I've heard the same thing as well. And that's the other thing we both mentioned yesterday during our talks is that if they did have a plan for Brock Lesnar at the Rumble, scrap it.
Yep.
Whatever you had going for him, that's not going to happen. That can't
Yeah,
happen.
it can't.
Because if he were to come out at the Rumble, can you imagine?
There
Not
would be
only
so
the
many
amount,
boos.
yes, not only the amount of boos he would get, but how bad it would look on WWE.
Yeah.
So I'm just glad from the sound of it that they made that decision to not allow Brock Lesnar to be at the Rumble. And if it was me, I think this would mark the end of Brock Lesnar in WWE
And UFC.
and UFC. Well, to be fair, he wasn't going to go back to UFC.
No, but
Because he can't handle doing
no,
UFC.
but same company anyway.
Yeah. So I'm just glad to hear at least that has happened, that the plans for Brock Lesnar have been scrapped for the Rumble. So one less thing to worry about going into tomorrow. And it being the weekend, I don't think anything else is going to come out.
Probably
That
not.
had
I don't think so. I'm sure Monday we'll start hearing more come out.
Oh yeah, Monday we'll definitely get more. And one of the things that we also talked about that I wanted to bring up real quick is that the lack of coverage by media on this is a bit surprising as well.
Not just wrestling media, but mainstream media.
Yeah, media altogether, not just wrestling.
I saw one CNN article. That was it.
Yeah, and maybe it was just a bad time for this to drop, because the normal people that we would hear from or see videos from, Sean Ross Sapp, Denise Salcedo, the people that would normally put up videos or go live discussing this are currently in Florida doing press for the Rumble. So fair enough that they couldn't do this due to prior commitments. And a lot of them fund those trips themselves. So to take time away to cover this right now, I can understand why they didn't. But just the lack of coverage altogether is surprising to me. But like you said, we have gotten the one article from CNN. Maybe more people are going to look into it. But all in all, knowing what we know just from everything that was said yesterday, and Vince McMahon being future endeavored, hopefully to death. Again, it's me. Of course, I was going to say it. I always say it when it comes to Vince McMahon.
And one thing we always knew, but now definitely know that Vince McMahon is a sick fuck.
Yeah.
We started getting the picture in '96 when the Mr. McMahon character debuted. But the point is, it wasn't a character.
We thought it was a character.
We thought it was a character, but it sounds like it's not.
I sent y'all that video, that promo that him and Stephanie had 20 years ago. Very eerie.
Yes.
Now
it's like they're predicting the future.
Yeah. now it just makes me sick to think about Like the whole Trish Stratus situation, the whole Stacy
Keebler and all the things that happened in ring with them.
Yes.
What could have happened in the back that we don't know about?
And that is what needs to come out.
Yeah, like the Trish Stratus, barking like a dog. And
Yeah.
there was one where he tried to replicate Terrell Owens like Monday Night Football skit where like she came out out of the shower in a towel.
Yeah. The old Kiss My Ass Club.
Yeah.
Come on.
I mean, but to be fair, only guys kiss his ass. So
yeah.
And who saved everybody? The Rock.
Yeah.
Yes. And now who's
taking his spot?
Everyone? Now who's
The
saving
Rock.
us again?
The Rock.
Yeah, I just want to know how y'all feel about the whole situation. And like I said, we've talked about it for a good 20 minutes now, including going into a little bit of detail. But one of the other things I want to bring up, and again, this goes back to the disclaimer because I'm going to get a little bit graphic again. So fair warning to those listening, either cover your ears. If you have kids with you, send them away. Yeah. Andrew, you and your virgin ears, you're the only one that has kids here, but whatever. Yeah, cover your ears.
These kids are grown.
Yeah. So one of the things that came out with all of this was that one of the things Vince would do and what he has in his unfortunate perversion collection is a hefty, sizable collection of dildos that each one of them is named after a wrestler. And unfortunately, he would use those with whoever women he had at the time. This is the kind of sick shit that I never would have thought of. It's like you said, the character is actually the person. Just everything we saw on screen was a more tame version of
what he did backstage,
doing in the back, or at headquarters, wherever he was doing it. And it's just very sick to think about.
Yeah. Could you imagine if back in the day if they had Netflix and Raw was on Netflix back then?
Oh, good Lord.
Imagine the things that would slip up. And choice of words here. This is the other thing that
we were having trouble choosing our words either.
Yeah, we were having trouble choosing our words because anything we would say, it would just sound bad, no matter how you worded it. So that's just another slip up on me. I take responsibility for that slip up, and there it goes again. So, yeah, it's just very disgusting to think about, and a lot of women who have been going back and forth about this on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. I still call it Twitter. Have been saying that if anybody else wants to come out to help the cause and further make things happen quicker against Vince McMahon, if you feel comfortable coming out, come out. Explain your situation. Explain what was done to you. Because she can't be the only one. And unfortunately for her, and I know you heard of some of this today as well, Johnny, on the Wrestle Talk video that we saw. She is, because of this, she is not in great health, not in great mental health. She's physically struggling to stay alive from the sounds of it. She's having a very hard time, even though she is able to name Vince McMahon and wanting to carry this on against him. It even got to the point where, per Wrestle Talk and per Sean Ross app as well, it's been said that she is unfortunately suicidal as well, and that is the worst thing in the world, because if you are one of the people that unfortunately have lost someone to suicide, I personally haven't, but I know friends of friends that have lost someone to suicide, and it is the worst thing in the world. Because just when you think you can help someone, there actually is no helping them. Whatever they want to do, they are going to do. There is no stopping that.
Yeah, it goes back to, we just saw the Iron Claw.
Yeah.
There were
Unfortunately.
Three suicides.
Yeah, 3 suicides in that movie, and...
Well, 2, but it was 3, but they only showed 2.
Yeah, 3, but they only showed 2. Yeah. That is the main thing I wanted to address as well, is only come out if you feel comfortable in coming out with any information. And ultimately, and this is just me being serious, and like I said, it has to be addressed honestly and upfront. Unfortunately, you are going to do what you are going to do in the end. There might be prolonging the situation, we might delay the situation, but just know that there is help out there. There are people willing to talk to you. There are people that love you, and they would be sad if you went out that way, in whatever way you decide. It's just something to think about, because one of the ones that happened in the past that we never did mention her name. I think it almost slipped up, but we stopped it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I think people need to come forward. That way there is a small circle within the company of people that can talk to each other. They can talk to each other. They can help each other. There is ways out of this. And I'm just hoping the best for Miss Grant, because she's unfortunately is having a rough time with all of this. And understandable, because you were taken advantage of in the worst way. I don't know, man. I don't know if there's anything else y'all really want to say about it.
And of course, with all this, of course, Vince denies everything.
Yeah.
I mean, even though I'm sure he was forced to resign.
Yeah.
But and the only wrestler that was talked about was Brock Lesnar. I'm sure might be other wrestlers out there who were also may have been involved.
Yeah, because as again, we don't have any other names other than Vince McMahon, John Laurinaitis, and Brock Lesnar. But it has been made known that there was other talent that were sent pictures, videos, and there even was a referee that was sent those videos and pictures, who is said to be in a great friend of Vince McMahon. So these aren't the only 3. Whoever else was involved in any way, we need to know who they are.
Yeah, I have my suspicions of who other wrestler might be.
There's some that I also suspect.
And I'm not going to say, and it's not Triple H. I'm just going to say Double H. If you get that.
Oh, I get it. Yeah, we're not gonna, like, again, we can assume who we think. We can assume what people were also involved, but we're not gonna personally name anybody else.
Yeah.
Until and if those names ever come out. Because some people are already going back and forth as to who those people can possibly be. And just because it is his daughter and his son-in-law doesn't mean that they knew everything. There's even some people that just because Pat McAfee had Vince McMahon on, they started to throw Pat McAfee under the bus. He's just doing a talk show. Like, he just had people on. Just because he had them on doesn't mean he knows.
I mean, I'm sure Stephanie didn't know because the first time when this came out, she
on the app.
left the company.
Yeah. And if she didn't know, Triple H for sure didn't know, I would say, because imagine how that would look on Stephanie if your own husband was hiding something like that from you.
Yeah.
So, other than for the one person Johnny sort of singled out there as a possible other person involved, we're not going to name any other people, but I do have my suspicions as well. So I really do hope these names come out, because it could be someone we currently like, and it would just completely change that situation, not only for the fans, but for that person as well. So yeah, I think there needs to be a lot of legal proceedings that come from this. Obviously, Vince said he's going to fight it in court, but there's way too much evidence against you already to where I would think it doesn't look like it would end up good for him. How do y'all think that would work out if it does end up going to court, knowing how the last time that went? How do y'all think this one would go?
Well, I think since he resigned, so the company is done with him. It's not the company's deal anymore.
Yeah. But aside from the company, there has to be something done to prove a point. And not only to prove a point, for the respect of said women who are involved. Justice needs to be served on this, or else it's just gonna allow other people to use this as an example that if I do something like this and I have money and power, I am untouchable in a way. I don't know, man. It's still a weird feeling that I have about it all. But how do you think the situation would go, Andrew, if it does end up going to court?
Jeez, I don't know.
I just want to see jail time, man.
Yeah, it would be probably one of the most followed court cases in a while.
Yeah. And this right here, perfect example of how far of a reach something like this can have. because other than for Johnny and Andrew, the other person I've spoken about this in very extensive conversations is my sister, and she is in no way a fan of professional wrestling, but she is a fan of all things mysteries like court cases and stuff like that. She worked for a law firm for a couple of years, and that was in a way one of the most fun jobs she's ever had. She really enjoyed doing it, and we've gone back and forth about all of this. And even though it's stuff she wouldn't normally read, I sent her all the screenshots that I had because she personally asked for it, because she wanted to know the details of what's going on, and immediately said, "Oh, so he was a sick fuck all along." So even though she's not a wrestling fan, just from everything that has happened before and everything she has heard from me, she's made that same comment that we have made. So, yeah, who knows what else is going to come from this? But like I said at the start, we wanted to come on here and discuss this a little bit, just so our Royal Rumble watch along stays pretty much that. So yeah, this we needed to come on here and discuss this. So any closing things y'all want to say before we wrap this up?
No, nothing else. Nothing else to be said.
And like I said, it's not over. There's going to be more details coming up. So
at least we assume so.
Yeah, we assume other details are going to come out. So we will be discussing this in the following weeks. But yeah, other than that, the only thing left to say is join us tomorrow for our Royal Rumble watch along, and after the following week, there will be a live stream this following Saturday, but it won't be our normal wrestle talk type of thing.
Wrestle
Lost, not Wrestle Talk. We're not them yet.
No, talking about wrestling is
okay.
Wrestling talk.
Wrestling talk, not Wrestle Talk.
It's gonna be our next our next episode of Wrestling with Conspiracy. And
wrestling with the dog.
Yeah, it's gonna be our next episode of Wrestling with Conspiracies, and it's gonna be a very interesting one. I have yet to find the perfect video to start it off, but if you're into everything anomalies, Andrew's having a hard time over there with the pub, bro.
I think the dog's winning.
Yeah,
it is.
I think the dog's winning for sure. But yeah, tune in, and it's going to be a fun time. So I'll keep what it is under wraps for now, just to keep it a bit of a mystery. But yeah, hope everybody is ready for the Rumble. Don't let this take away from what tomorrow night is going to be, because I did see some people online saying that they were ready to sell off their tickets just because of what was going on. But we also have to remember that when you go to shows, it's about going to see the talent. They are the ones that are truly going to appreciate you. So just keep that in mind when making these decisions. And yeah, it's an unfortunate situation this week, but we're still going to focus on how badass tomorrow night is going to be. So with all of that being said, hope everybody enjoys their Friday night, and we will see y'all tomorrow for our watch along.
See you tomorrow.